in this room. Nothing else. 48 minutes for everybody who's here. Do you understand me?
Yes, Coach.
Do you understand me?
Yes, Coach.
Welcome back to CFBNation. I'm your host, DDP. Got my co-host on the side of me, Boomer, and you are watching P2P with Boomer and DDP. My guy, what's going on? We get the fresh lids, courtesy of D now. What's popping?
He hooked it up, man. I mean, we're here. We got some highlights to cover. I've got two things for you. Obviously, I'm an OU alumni. This hurts my soul to even cover Texas, but we got to do this, and then I need you to read my shirt, Texas fans. You just need to let that shit go. Like, horns down for life. Okay, that's the last time I'll say that. So, on this show, at least.
I love it. So you know how we do it. We do the weekly headlines. We get into things. Talk about these hot topics. Before we get into this super hot topic, this one that's everybody's happy about, right? EA Sports announces the return of NCAA college football. My question to you is, right? I know you're excited. Everybody's excited. One cover or regional covers?
Honestly, I think you're going to see multiple.
You think they're going to go regional?
Yeah, I think it's smart. I think it's money-wise, it's basically an NIL deal, right? So,
right.
It would be smart of them to go, let's go conference, let's go, I think it would be cool, honestly, if they did like Heisman finalists, like a watch, whatever.
Watch list? Like
yeah,
Caleb,
something like that.
Bo, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think that would be super cool. Obviously, I think Caleb never, but I really think it's going to be Caleb Williams is going to be the cover being drafted like it was before. Hey, this guy was the number one draft pick because that's what we believe is going to happen, and he could be the cover, right? And which is fine, right?
USC is a big market. Any chance my boy gets it? You know what I'm talking about, right? I'm not talking about a current player. My boy. No, my boy. Like the guy. Kim's guy. Yeah, Kim K's original guy, Reg. You think Reggie gets the cover? You think?
Hey, how amazing would it be if they gave him his trophy back
and gave him the cover
on release day?
That's the cover. Like that would be the cover. Like he's getting it back.
That would be absolutely bonkers. I mean, it would be huge for them.
Gold cover, like you know what I mean, like a special edition, like and it's now Reggie.
Basically, like we're back, and so is Reggie, type of thing. Oh man, you know what,
dude? To the roof. Call me up. Call me up, bro.
We're here, baby. We're here. Like just, it would be. Hey, that would be absolutely ridiculous.
I'll take 0.5%. You can take my idea, EA Sports. Give me Boomer.
I'll take
0.5.
Yeah,
0.5. We'll split it 0.25 a piece, and we're good, dude. Because that would just through the roof.
Would be through the roof. Awesome.
Now, you know what else is going to be through the roof awesome? Is this Magnificent 7 that if this pops off, boom, it's obviously the end of the ACC. I'm hearing rumors that it's, obviously with Oregon and it was Washington getting accepted to go to the Big Ten, correct?
Yep.
So that would be the end of the Pac-12 in existence since, the other teams are already going. What do you think about this Magnificent 7, my guy? Like, this is leading up to what we talked about, right? This is pretty much what they wanted. The powers that be want this 3 super conferences, and that's it. Like, you guys can all eat crow.
I mean, you think about it. It's basically like you're making independent.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's really what you're doing. I mean, if you're smart, though, don't you have to keep Notre Dame in that group? And, like, NC State's out the door. Like, I mean, that's my pick. Like,
so I think this Magnificent 7 thing would have to nullify that contract with Notre Dame in the ACC, schedule. Obviously, I mean,
yeah,
there's got to be some weird guidelines and backdoor, like fine print that we haven't even heard about it. Obviously, this is just a little bit of fluff at the
Or
moment.
keep NC State and call it the grade 8.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, like, all right, so it's Clemson, FSU, Miami, UNC, NC State, Virginia Tech. Why wouldn't the other guys want out? Like, why would you guys want to stay? I don't even understand. Like, why would you?
The fewer people for the TV rights mean more money for the little guy. That's why they want to stay. That's it.
Yeah, but you're going to get peanuts at that point because that contract's going to be null with the ESPN, right? Which is like the bag to like 20,
but think about it, like Peacock.
Yeah, so what's up? The cock's going to be the one, and that's like you can't censor me because that's what they're calling it, the cock, right? The peacock. That's the nickname. Like, what's the deal with this? They're taking over everything. Like, here's my deal. I stream everything, so I don't give a shit. But like the average Joe, right? Like, you want to watch college football? You got to go to the cock to watch it, or you got to go to YouTube TV. Look at what YouTube TV did last week to everybody. Or just this week alone, they shut down and canceled everybody's subscription. Like, you really gonna leave it up to hands at them guys? Like, what happened to solid cable? Like, you know what I mean? Or like a solid network? Like, I don't.
YouTube TV, they aren't they getting an NFL Sunday ticket?
Yeah, but they better not. What happened to week 1 when that just goes boom? What are they gonna do? Right? You want to talk about people losing it?
I mean, I'm one of those people that have it. So I mean,
well, I'm saying if it just went down on you on YouTube TV, you watch.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV wasn't that great. I lost like 3 or 4 weeks, during 2 years. So I mean, it can't be much worse. The app was horrible.
Yeah, I had down DirecTV when it first started, bro. It was before Andrew was on there, and it was hit or miss. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I think there'll be more and more teams from other conferences that are kind of just saying, all right, man, I'm out. Like, could Stanford say, yo, I'm not going to sit here. I know we have a GPA issue, right? You got to carry a GPA issue over here in Cal as well. But, like, what are they going to – do they really want to play San Diego State and them guys who were the rumored to come over? Like, is that really going to be competition for them? Like, they were competitive. And now you're going to be playing teams I don't think that are going to be. San Diego State.
Well, I can't really say they were competitive. 2 years in a row, they didn't win a bowl game. And last year, they finally did. So
they were competitive in their conference.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're going to be competitive in the conference now, too. So
they're going to be the dudes in the conference. They're going to be the dudes. They automatically a default like 1-2. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's wild. Let's talk about this. We haven't had an outhouse candidate, I think, in a minute, right? We've been doing a couple of these breakdowns, and I can't remember having an outhouse candidate, but for some reason, I keep thinking in my head, like, everybody loves Shark, right? And I know we're fans of him, and we've kind of talked about this in the back a little bit, but 13-12, 0-1 in a bowl game. You got all the talent in the world. You had all the talent last year. Bijan was there, right? What's the deal? Are they getting ready to walk him to the outhouse if he has a subpar season? I don't think they are, but that's early on for me to talk about. We'll get through with the episode. But what do you think?
We're going to get to it, but there's a moment last year where he popped off at one of the guys in the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
That was not cool by any. Very unprofessional. I mean, and if I'm recruiting. If I'm recruiting, I'm like, you want to go to this guy? Like, you see who this guy is, right? Like, and if this is sober Sark, what's drunk Sark? So that's what. If I'm a recruiter, that's what I'm saying. All right. So that's what you, as a recruiter, I'm coming at that, right? 13-12, as a Sooner fan, we appreciate it. Like.
Bro, it took you 9 minutes and 25 seconds to start throwing shots. You said the first one was done, and then now you're loaded.
I said the horn down was done.
Yeah, but then the shots keep coming. Like you said,
but I mean, they're going to keep coming. You're 13-12.
No, you're right. No, I'm with you.
You fired Mac Brown, who had 11-2 season.
Talk to
the last time. What's he done since he went to North Carolina? He went 13-12. I know that.
No, not at all. He's probably gone 18 and
he's about to have a first-round quarterback.
Facts. Well, hey, who knows? Y'all could have a first-round quarterback, too. We'll get to that.
It could.
He could have a transfer out too, but we'll also get to that. You know what I'm saying? I got murdered many a times on the Angry Blue Birdie, and Boomer is my witness. KT is my witness. I don't care about that. I love the smoke. You want to come at me? It's all good and fun, like on thing. Like I no harm way. We all have our own opinions. If if we all were the same, it was all vanilla. It would be boring. So I get it. They got a crowded QB room.
Crowded.
Before we talk about the guys up front, I want to talk about the guy coming in. He had a lot of hype, right? The year is senior year of high school, 2,200 yards, 61%, completion percentage, 34 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He played against me and you. But the numbers were there. You could see it. He comes from the pedigree. He has talent, right? I mean, playing against a guy like me, you probably got talent too. Like, cause I'm not a dude. You're not a dude. And a lot of guys he played weren't dudes. So, but there's a little bit of hype. You can see that there is talent there. Is he ready? I question that. That spring game put all of my questions into a nice big neon sign, which set me off to go to Twitter and say, with him saying now that he's not going to take an NIL deal, I kind of feel like that almost like validates my point even more, right? Like there's a possibility if he's QB3, I know his development, right? I get it. Could he leave? Could we see a transfer? I'm not saying he's going to. Is there a possibility? Boom. Talk to me.
So Quinn Ewers was one of the top recruits in the country. He transfers, right? Mm-hmm. Really surprised he even left the state of Texas. Kind of in this weird thing. My man Arch showed up on campus, and the first thing he does is lose ID. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Oh. My guy's already fumbling, right? And the reason why he fumbled 3 times is because there's 3 quarterbacks ahead of him in this class, even though nobody believes it. We've stomped the ground. Jackson Arnold, Nico, your boy, Dante. Right? That's 3 quarterbacks in front of him. That's for his 3 fumbles that he's had for his ID. Could it finish that way? Maybe not. Right?
Right.
We talk about pedigree all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history are his family.
Facts.
Right? And we tend to see quarterbacks get better and better and better, right? Mm-hmm. Eli's not better than his brother, but they're so close, right? His dad's a really good dude in general. The Manning family's phenomenal. There's so much spotlight, though. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad he's sitting behind Quinn Ewers. And the other guy who's also a really good quarterback, the spring game was a little telling to me. He wasn't ready. Bright lights, 30, 40,000 something fans. They don't mess around in Texas. It's loud down there. But my guy needs to sit. Didn't take an NIL deal because probably his family's like, listen, we ain't about to be Spencer Rattler here. Mm-hmm. You getting all these NIL deals, you're the number 1 guy, and then you get replaced. We're just going to sit and be the guy, let Quinn go on, hope he does his thing, and then you can move in and do your thing. If you can show up and learn the playbook. I feel like we're a little silver spoon fed here. And it started with the recruiting process. And nothing against Archie Manning. I think that he could be really, really good. I love the pedigree. But he's behind the power curve when we're talking about the other guys in the class. Are they ready now? The other guys are ready now.
Yeah.
So the best thing that could happen to him, I pray, Texas. I pray that we don't have a major Applewhite, Chris Sims issue again. Because Applewhite was balling. He played great. And then we brought in Chris Sims, and Oklahoma fans love you for it because Applewhite was crushing Oklahoma. He was balling. He was balling against everybody. And because of the name,
yep,
There's a reason my guy's been an analyst ever since, right? I don't care if it's a spleen issue or not.
Terrible at that too.
Yeah. I mean, he can chatterbox all he wants, but I pray, Texas, that you have a good year.
Yeah,
Because if you have to throw him to the fire, he's in trouble.
I don't think they would throw him to the fire. That's my thing. I think that we've seen that Malik is going to.
Well, and here's why I said they will, right? Because if they start having a bad year, there's no tougher border regions than Texas, I would say. It is win now, always win now. Let's do it now. Like, then I fired Mac Brown.
Yeah.
They fired, Charlie Strong. That they do not care who you are.
Right.
If you ain't winning, you ain't here. And if Sarks get on the hot seat, all it takes is, and Quinn has 2 bad games, it's just like the OU versus Texas. When we saw Caleb flip in, came up. Don't let Texas be losing Oklahoma in the first half, because Archie. You hear it here first. I promise you, the chance will be there by that game.
You think so?
Yes.
All right. So I don't hate Archie. Okay, I want people to understand that I'm not a hater on the thing. There was a lot of hype, and I don't know if he's particularly living up to the hype right now. I think the kid's got talent. I think the kid has a chance to move up. But the gentleman you mentioned in the middle, the guy, Malik Murphy, he was showcased a little bit in the spring game. He was probably the best QB out of Texas, and they didn't all look very well in that game at all, but he looked pretty good. He had a nice touchdown pass. But it's the spring game, so I'll take that as a grain of salt, okay? But what I won't take as a grain of salt is we spoke about Shock being on the hot seat, and there was a gentleman that started talking about Longhorns football this week that hasn't been really relevant in a little bit in college football because he had himself an issue in the NFL. And that'd be Urban Meyer. He doesn't talk for no reason. That man, everything that man does when it comes to a career is strategically placed. This little nugget that he dropped was his strategic way of saying, I'm ready. Because if it's not Texas, it's Texas A&M, and I'm telling you that right now. Because the buyout's justified, right? If you buy out Jimbo for all that money, or you bought out Shock for all that money, Urban comes in and you're like, okay, he's established. He's coming with petty. He's coming with numbers behind him. We'll
championships.
Exactly. He's done it. He may have an unorthodox way of coaching and speaking to people, right? But somehow it works, and they win. He doesn't say anything about Texas having the best roster in college football for no reason. Maybe he's talking to the Manning family. Maybe he's talking to the powers that be. Or maybe he's just dropping that nugget. But he don't, like I said, he don't do things without strategically planning it out. This was planned. Him dropping that nugget about Texas Longhorns football was planned. Shock's on notice. Urban was putting Shock on notice right there. And that was a little
Sarkisian got to be ready for that. I mean, if the outhouse, like you said, it's there. And I really was hoping you were going to wait until the end because Urban Meyer saying that. And like I said, if he goes, he better win 11 games.
Oh, yeah. But if he goes, Arch is QB1. If Urban goes in there, it's everybody else is out. It's Arch and Urban, and they're going to ride that till the car crashes. That's a fact. So we'll see what happens. And when it comes to Quinn, I'm in, okay? Because I said last year, I'm going to say it again this year. And when I said it last year, I thought you almost fell off the chair. I think this year you're ready for it, and you understand where I'm coming from. Week 2, the Longhorns are beating the Alabama Crimson Tide. If he didn't get hurt because that offensive line was Swiss cheese in that game last year, they were probably going to pull away significantly in that game because they were grooving. And then he got hurt, and obviously, you know what it was.
I agree. They had that game in the bag. I mean, until Bryce Young won the last drive.
Right.
He didn't do anything. They were ready. They prepared. The equalizer might be it being in Alabama.
Yeah. I mean, it could be, but it's been a while since Nick's had a new guy, right? It's been a while since he's been threw a new guy into the fire, right? Everybody's kind of had a little bit of experience, was groomed behind the next dude. We haven't seen. They played Milroe for a little bit. I thought he was going to be the guy. I thought Nick wanted to go with that more mobile guy, but we saw that spring game. Only thing that stuck out to me was Alabama's defense. Quarterback department did not stick out to me. So I think Texas got an advantage there. I'm going to ask you a simple question before we talk about the running backs, because that's another topic I want to talk about. Is this the most talented Longhorns receiver room in the last 15 years? All around. Not just one guy.
Adding Adonai Mitchell probably takes it over the top.
I think Jonte Cook's second puts them into the next level.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's the 5-star. That's what I'm saying is you have him as 5-star. You got Worthy, right?
You got Naima. You have Naima, who came over from Wyoming that he didn't play a game last year because he got hurt in the spring. He was a dude. He went off for like 1,300 yards at Wyoming, double-digit touchdowns, 13 yards per catch. So I've been watching college football for a long time. I've been in this scene for a short amount of time, but I've been watching it for a long time. I don't remember them having a guy like Worthy who can be your dominant guy, right? He's got 122 receptions, 1,700 yards, 21 touchdowns. You know, he was injured last year, so that doesn't really go. That doesn't count. But like in the last 2 years, that's what he's got. Those are numbers, dude, right? Adonai Mitchell, as a freshman, broke out with 426 yards, 4 touchdowns. He got hurt, but all he does is catch touchdowns. Like we've seen him in 2 championship games with Stetson Bennett, just go in the end zone and do his stuck thizzle. So he's a deep threat. Nama's a speedster. Jonte Cook, I think I like Nama, but I think Jonte Cook's wide receiver 3 for them, possibly wide receiver 2. He's an absolute dude.
I could see them going 4 wide all the time, though.
Yeah.
So
and when was the last time Texas had 4 threats though as wide receivers? Right? I get it. They've had running backs for a few years, so that's been their thing. They've
always had a good running back core. Like I mean, we can go back for years. They lost Adrian Peterson because they had such a good running back core.
Yeah. So, and they still got a running back core. The 3 guys in front of the freshman, I'm a little worried about because I was all about Jadon Blue coming in as a freshman, the 4-star. But I thought he was going to be that dude. And then obviously Bijan was there and Roshan was there, so he had to wait. He never was able to get past even Roshan. So that was a red flag for me. It's his time now. Is it going to be him? Is it going to be Keelan Robinson?
I love Keelan Robinson. I mean, you don't leave Bama to go to Texas unless, which is hilarious, by the way, right? Because he could be the featured guy against Alabama week 2. So
they got that guy, that dude, that freshman, that Cedric Baxter Jr. Man, I know he's a freshman. He missed some time, but in 9 games last year, he had 1,300 yards, 174 carries, and 15 touchdowns. That's stupid.
Dumb.
Yeah. 7.9 yards per carry. Boomer. Like, I know your eyes go, woo, when you see numbers.
8 yards a rack, bro. Give me that. I mean, I don't care in any competition whatsoever. If you know it's coming in, you can't stop it.
I think there's a good chance by mid-year he could be the featured back.
It's going to be a fun room. I mean, offensively, like my man Urban said it, they have a ridiculous room. I mean, they're loaded offensively. Loaded.
You said offensively, so let's talk about the spot that's not really loaded, but there are guys. They have like 3 dudes on this defense that I don't think people are talking about that kind of jumped off the page to me. We'll start at, the dirt dogs, the Buck and the Jack, right? Those that's what they call their ends, and that's Ethan Burke and Baron Sorrell. Obviously, Sorrell's the guy, right? 6'3", 246, had 44 tackles last year, 16 solo, 9 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, and a pass defense. Ethan Burke was soft, but he didn't really get much time. I think he had a total of 6 tackles in a few games. What are your thoughts on Sorrell? Because I know he's got to be a guy, right?
Yeah, so of the group, 44 tackles out of a defensive end. Right. You be praying for numbers. The guy sets an edge. that does that. 16 solos, understand, right? He sets the edge well. That's your key to happiness, right? It's the tackles for loss and the 5.5 sacks that you want to see. And really, let's talk the Big 12 offensive linemen. They had some dudes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just at Oklahoma, you're talking Anton and freaking Wanye Morris are both drafted, right? They've got another guy who was drafted. They got another guy who was UDFA.
Didn't TCU have a guy? Yeah.
TCU had a big room.
Where was
Iowa State had a big room everywhere.
Where did Avila go? Was it TCU or Kansas State?
Yeah, TCU.
Yeah, so like he was. If he wasn't,
there's some dudes. I mean, so to get to run through some guys and play the competition offensive line wise that you do, to put up decent stats, it sounds great, and you're going to see that here and there. But he's the better of the two. The only person I really want to talk about is the linebacker 5-star recruit.
I thought you were gonna wait. I knew you were.
I can't wait, dude. Anthony Hill Jr.
Yeah, he's him.
He could be an absolute game changer for them.
Week 1 starter, right? Like starting.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, at least Texas can finally say they got somebody they drafted in the first round. They haven't had one in a long time. He's one of the best recruits defensively for years for them. And they've had some dudes. They've had some, Stearns has been really solid. He went to Denver. He's played really well there. And I like Stearns. I think he's, just an absolute headhunter. But Anthony Hill, man, I really think that he could anchor that defense even as a freshman.
Freshman. As a true freshman, this kid is – I want people to understand, okay? Jalen Ford is no slouch. He got looked over by, DeMarvion Overshown being there last year. But Jalen Ford had 119 total tackles, 61 solo, 10 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 2 picks, 4 pass defenses, and 3 forced fumbles. And they are saying that Anthony Hill is going to be LB1. Week 1.
I mean, it's a great room, dude. Between the two of them, that they're going to be really, really solid. The fact that you have a 119 tackle guy with a good PFF grade, and he's not the guy that makes you feel so good about Anthony Hill as a Texas fan. You guys have got to be reeling about. I understand you got Arch, but to have somebody come in defensively for you and anchor a defense that can. Defense wins championships, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to have 2 linebackers that are absolutely going to ball.
Listen, before we talk about the interior defensive lineman, because I think there's a gentleman on the inside that's going to have a good year this year. We're talking about guys that are going to eat. Linebackers, those 2 linebackers are going to eat. I need to know. I was presented the same question, so I am going to ask you this question because Shane and Brian asked me this question, and I don't know because he can't stay freaking healthy. Can Jalen Canelone finally make his resurgence on the scene of college football? He sampled a little bit, right? in the 21 appearances he's had total, 159 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, 14 pass defenses, 5 picks, and 3 forced fumbles. But that was spanned out over 2.5 years? Do we see him make his ascension this year?
So I think that yes is the answer. Catalan he's a dude.
Yes.
Hasn't stayed healthy consistently. I think that's something you have to focus your strength and conditioning room, right? Love or hate it, Arkansas, Texas is much better strength and conditioning room than Arkansas, right? You have your moments. You're in the SEC, but you are just like Texas A&M. You're not happy that Oklahoma and Texas are coming. And Catalan is a guy. I mean, he ain't just a guy. He's a guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
But he wants to be him. He wants to be the next, Stearns. He wants to, be the next Huff. The guys that have really, really balled out as a defensive back, for the Longhorns. And I really think he could have a big year. And as he's a guy that I'm trying to stay away from on the quarterback side, I'll tell you that.
I think that he's going to have the year for the simple fact is now he doesn't have to be the guy because Jerrion Thompson had 83 tackles last year, 50 solo, and he had 7 pass defenses. He was the guy for them last year. So Canelo can be the dude, but the pressure of him having to be the dude is not there. So as long as he can stay healthy, they're going to let him play free. He's going to be able to roam around the whole field, right? You might even see him in the nickel. Like, he's going to have his opportunity. So
like it.
I think he's going to have, I think if, like I said, the health is concerned because it's been flashes in the pan every year that he's been able to play. He always gets injured, misses a bunch of time. If he stays healthy, he could be a top 5 safety in this class if he can stay healthy.
That's big numbers right there. I mean, that's a good DB class. I mean, last year was a good DB class, but
you got to think about who he's playing, like and the type of guys he's going to be playing. I know it's the Big 12, right? But like,
give me an over under pass deflections and interceptions.
If he's healthy, I'll go with 4 interceptions, 10 pass deflections.
An over under. I got an over under 2 for interceptions and over under of 7 pass deflections.
Well, I'm going. That's my number. So I'll go over and over. How about that?
Okay.
Over your numbers. Because I think if he's healthy, being able to just roam around and use his IQ, and he hits like a truck, dude. It could be a lot of. He could make turnovers. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think in the system, if healthy, he could eat, dude. Really could. Now, I love DBs. You know that DBs is my department. DBs and safeties. Terrence Brooks, yeah, he's a youngin. 5'11", 197. Last year was a sophomore. He only 9 tackles, 5 solo, 3 pass defenses. I'm not saying he's a pushover, but he's not the guy that I'm looking at. Ryan Watt, 6'3", 205. I like those numbers: 51 tackles, 33 solo, 3 pass defenses, and an interception. I like those numbers. The guy coming from Wake Forest is the guy that I'm really liking. All right. Gavin Holmes has the opportunity. He's coming in there as DB3. I think Gavin Holmes has the opportunity to walk out at the end of this year as DB1 for them, okay? He's coming up from Wake. In 27 games, he has 45 tackles, 15 pass defenses. They've had guys. Nick Anderson's over there in the safety department. He was DB safety. He's a dude, right? He's eating, even with these guys around him. Now he's going to have the opportunity to play. I think this kid can step up. He's fast. He's got a quick back pedal. He closes well, right? He's like my guy Kool-Aid. He likes to play up in the throat, likes to get in wide receivers' chest, and you're not hand checking him off the line of scrimmage. So I think that they need this in the Big 12. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think because of the pass-heavy offense that you're going to see in the Big 12, I think you're going to see 7 to 10 pass deflections from him alone.
Okay.
I think you're going to see about 30 to 40 tackles from him alone, which can't really ask much more of, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If I get 10 pass deflections and 40 to 50 tackles out of a guy, he had a really good year.
Yeah.
So he gets an interception or 2, bonus.
Right.
But he gonna get his opportunity. He could also get his opportunity to get burned. So because they're going to test him.
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, I will argue the Big 12 is much stouter than the ACC. So, now he got to see Hartman every single day in practice.
Right.
So he's going to see another good quarterback in Quinn Ewers and Archie Manning, and your guy, I don't know why I'm all of a sudden blank. All of a sudden, Malik Murphy.
Yeah.
He gets to see those guys every single day. We're talking about 3 5-star recruits. So that only helps him. That only helps the entire defense. When you get to see guys like that, you ain't going to see a quarterback room probably better than them.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, love or hate it. I mean, I hate it as an OU fan because that quarterback room is absolutely elite.
Yeah.
Elite.
That's why I said Urban drops Nuggets for a reason, bro. I mean, they're stacked.
They have the best quarterback room. They might have the best wide receiver core, like you said, in their team's history in the last 15 years. Then that's saying something.
Right.
Right. you just keep going. Their offensive line is a lot improved compared to what it was.
They're returning 3 out of the 5 guys from last year, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
offense is as long as they're clicking on all cylinders, it could be scary.
If they can put a defensive game together like they did against Oklahoma and even Alabama every single week, Texas is going to be in the playoff hunt.
Oh yeah,
100%.
So let's talk. You want to talk playoff hunt? Let's break down the schedule because I know what I've already been because I've been already yapping for the last week or so about the Texas Alabama game. So week 1, at home against Rice. It's consensus dub, right?
Yep.
Okay. On the road against Alabama, I'm going dub. You said that at Alabama could be the X factor.
I think that's the difference. I love the quarterback room better, much better than Alabama's quarterback room. The running back room, toss up probably.
I think Bama's got a better room. Justice Hayes, right? He's a dude, and he's going to be stopped.
Yeah, but you lose new quarterback, new wide receivers, new running backs. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen. They got 2 defensive linemen that are absolute. They have 2. Their defensive line stronger than Texas. Oklahoma's offensive line's probably, or Texas offensive line, Alabama's offensive line. Little toss up, right?
Yeah.
Right. Wide receiver room. As much as Alabama's balling, it's Texas. So quarterback room, easy Texas.
Yep.
DB, I'm gonna have to go Alabama because your boy's there. Kool-Aid's a dude.
He's the dude, not he's the dude.
He's a first-round draft pick. So
yeah.
You won't stay away from him all game.
They try to test
him. Whoever the other guy is, just be ready. It's coming all day long.
Yeah.
So, and probably three wide receiver sets. It's coming to you. It's going to be one of the best games of the year, just like it was last year.
Yeah.
But I think we see the flip, and the thing is even if Quinn goes out, I think that if Quinn goes out in that game, just like he did in the one, it'll be Arch's show.
You don't think Malik gets the ball?
Maybe right away because it's week 2. But he didn't beat them last year.
He was nothing last year. He came in that game and was terrible.
Yeah. So
I agree.
So that's why I say they already have tape on him. They don't have tape on Arch. So, but Quinn would have won that game. I 100% believe that. You believe that. So I'm going to go with you. I think Texas wins. They're going to be 2-0.
Boom. Then at home against Wyoming, dub.
Win.
Right. On the road against Baylor,
win.
At home against Kansas.
That's going to be a fun one. Hey, if there's one school that has had Texas's number the last 5 years, besides Oklahoma, it's
which Daniels do we get in though? That's what I need to know. Which Daniels is showing up? Early season.
If D. Daniels shows up, watch out.
Right, that's a shootout. That could be a banger right there. And Devin Neal's no slouch at the running back. You know what I mean?
Hey, their coach is good. Lance Leopold don't mess around.
No, he's a dude. He's a dude.
Yeah, he's solid.
I think that,
I'm going to give it to Texas because it's at Texas, right?
Yeah.
You get the edge right there. And the only reason is because they might be overlooking.
No, it could be over because the next week is against Oklahoma, but it's at home. So you're going into this
game. It's not at home. Here's the thing, right? Oklahoma, Texas is always at the Cotton Bowl. The reason why it's one of the greatest rivalries of all time. It's the only game that is a true neutral site. From Norman to the Cotton Bowl, from Austin to the Cotton Bowl is within 1 mile of each other. 1 mile, the distance is. And then you split the stadium 50-50. 1 red, 1 orange. You flip it every year, right? They're the home team this year, but there is no home team. That's why it's one of the greatest rivalries in college football history. It's the greatest neutral site during the Oklahoma-Texas State Fair. It is absolutely pandemonium. And Oklahoma got destroyed last year playing with a 4-string quarterback. Guess what, guys? They don't have a 4-string quarterback on their roster right now. They have 2 starters. And their number 2 guy right now, because Dylan Gabriel's healthy, I would argue is better than every quarterback
in the class.
in the class.
Yeah.
And I mean, he might not be the best quarterback on the field that day, but he's the best quarterback in this class. He's the Gatorade All-American. Consensus Gatorade All-American, Elite 11 MVP, right? Jackson Arnold's the real deal.
Yeah.
And when was the last time that Oklahoma lost 2 in a row?
No, I understand.
That's the tough one.
But you're coming in 5-0. I want to know what Oklahoma's record could be at that point because you could see the Jackson Arnold.
Oklahoma's easily coming 5-0. Their schedule's absolutely easily
This is a
high.
big game. So this is a big game. So
It'll be 5-0, 5-0. You know, primetime game. It needs to be a primetime game. It never is. It needs to be at least a 2:30 game, 2:30 Central Time. So 3:30 Eastern.
We'll skip this one. We'll come back to this one because this is the big one, right? So that it's 5-0. They skip that game. We'll come back to it. On the road at Houston, they've lost way too many pieces. I'm sorry. I'm going Texas.
Agreed.
At home against BYU the following week, I'm going Texas.
Agreed.
At home the following week against Kansas State, I'm going Texas.
Agreed.
Wait, no. They're on the road at TCU. Now, I like Chandler Morris, right? But they lost their offensive coordinator.
They lost everything.
Yeah, their wide receiver,
running back, quarterback,
Solomon,
2 wide receivers.
Solomon's a dude. Solomon is a wide receiver. That's a dude. All right, we know he's a guy. But I need to see what they're gonna do. They lost their offensive coordinator, like in Riley. They lost, running backs, both wide, like you said, both wide receivers. They lost linebackers. They lost cornerback, DN, and Horton. So they lost a lot of guys. Maybe they can just keep flowing. We'll have to see. But at this point, I'm going dub for Texas. Okay,
Same.
9-0 on the road at Iowa State, dub, and then the final game of the year against Texas Tech.
Here's the thing. At Iowa State, I don't know what it is.
It's a trouble game. It's a trouble
game. Ames is crazy. Like, they've beat more teams that were undefeated coming into Ames than I ever want to talk. They take Oklahoma State when the consensus Big 12 champ, like they got it in the bag, no big deal. Here comes Iowa State, right? Oklahoma's waxing people, come in, they get boom. Texas comes in, boom. Baylor, at Ames. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
He has them ready every single year. Campbell does not mess around.
Especially at home. At home, yes.
At home. That's why I'm saying it. At home. I don't know if it's a night game yet. If it's a night game, bro, I'm just lock it up. If it's a night game, I'm going to give it to Iowa State. If it's not a night game, I'm going to give it to Texas.
All right. So
that's how crazy that. I mean, it's because they'll wear all black for that game, guaranteed.
So there's 12 games on the schedule, right? I'm chalking up the Texas Tech game as a W. So there's 12 games on the schedule. Minus Oklahoma makes it 11 games. If they were to lose to Iowa State, say it's a night game, they lose that game. I'm cool with it. That's fine. They lost that game, right? They're 10-1. Now we have to make a verdict on this Oklahoma game. If they were to lose, they're 10-2. Nobody's getting fired. They're probably in the hunt for the CFB playoff, right?
If they lose to Iowa State, well, here's the thing. I'm going to give you. They're going to be undefeated with the exception of the OU game.
Okay.
Right? And
11-1.
Right?
And
because if they beat Oklahoma, they're running the table. I'm going to tell you that right now. Healthy.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Quinn stays healthy.
Yep.
Right? Because we saw what happened when he wasn't healthy. And they lost Oklahoma State. That team is lost. I mean, and here's the thing. If they don't win, we say 10 wins and they're good. But they fired Mac Brown after 11 wins. So, he resigned. He got fired. So.
Well, I say 10 because 10 puts them into the – I think 10 puts them in the conversation for the playoff. I think the only two teams that have – I think Clemson really has the cakewalk schedule out of everybody in college football. I think their schedule is
I'm going to put it this way. We're going to see – I'm going to just say it now. We're going to see Oklahoma versus Texas in the Big 12 championship game.
Okay, I'm with that. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Like, and it could be whoever won the regular season, the opposite team wins the championship game. Who knows, right? Because
It's highly possible. I think it's so hard to beat a team twice, and
yeah, no,
that
right,
happened before, right?
right.
Texas beat Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl, right?
Mhm.
Red River Robbery, and then Oklahoma won the Big 12 championship game, right?
Right.
So, and I think that's highly possible. Texas is going to continue to talk hey, we won 49-0. Oklahoma's like, hey, we had a 4-string quarterback who was a 4-string quarterback in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Play, right?
Yeah.
This guy played tight end during the spring, by the way. So I cannot wait. Nobody can wait. I already got my tickets. We're good. So, you Texas sideline, let's go. D now, hook it up. Trying to sideline, let's go.
He'll take care of you. He that's what he does. That's his MO. I'm gonna go with 11-1 all the way around. Whether they lose to Alabama and beat Oklahoma, or they beat, I'm still saying they're beating Alabama, but I'm just saying in scenarios. 11-1. You're in the college football playoff, bro.
So and that's the question: are they 11-1 lose the Big 12 championship game, or are they 11-1?
Well, I say
the Big 12 championship game.
Wait, I said they beat Bama, so my one loss would be OU regular season, which means you're winning the Big 12 because there's no other L in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's the thing. You win, but you have to play. There's still a Big 12 championship game.
Right. I'm saying if they lose to Oklahoma in the regular season, they're not losing to them in the playoff, in the Big 12 championship. Yeah, you said it yourself. It's hard to beat them back to back.
It's hard to beat any team back twice. But it will all depend on if Oklahoma, because I think Oklahoma defensively is a much different team.
Yeah, I agree. I think their defense is better.
Yeah, I think Dason McCullough is going to be the Big 12 newcomer of the year.
Yeah, well, yeah, his brother's also there too, right? Shout out my guy D now, hooking it up with the hats, my guy. Appreciate you. Yeah, no, I'm with it. Their defense is much better. I would say much better.
It's going to be such. We saw 49 points or whatever it was last year, and I think it's going to be a very different game. I think like 35-38 game, 35-27.
At later, I think that's not going to happen until like the second half. I think the first half of this OU Texas game is going to be a
slobber knocker.
Yeah, like
absolute slobber knocker.
21-17, something like that. And then in the second half, they're just going to come with, all right, let's air the ball out. Let's stop putting points on the board. And they're just going to go back and forth.
14-10
at the half. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. Maybe in the first quarter, it might be like 7-3. You know what I mean? Like, and they just long drives that either get the field goals or they just.
And we have said this, man. The reason why it's one of the greatest football games in college football, atmosphere, the rivalry's phenomenal. No lead is safe.
No,
it's not. Like,
right,
we watched Oklahoma come back when the doors were shut, and Caleb Williams come in. Right?
Yeah. We
got the chant. Can you imagine if it's flipped, and we got the Arch chant, and it had to come in? He had to come in and replace Quinn, and he has a battle back.
Oh, here we go.
It'll be a fun one. Hey,
it could be.
I can't wait.
I'm excited for it. It's going to be interesting. I know everybody says, Texas. We hear this every year in the last 10 years.
Texas is back. Hey, here's the thing. Texas legit has one of the best rosters in college football. I completely agree, right? Yeah. And I'm going to give you hate because I'm an Oklahoma alumni. They're my team. That's who my guys are. But you have got to respect the fact that Oklahoma and Texas are the top two grossing teams in football and not in the SEC, by the way.
Yep.
They were 1 and 2 in grossing football last year. And if somebody doesn't think they're going to get better in recruiting next year, we're going to the SEC, guys. It's the best conference. I love or hate it. Any Big 12 fan wants to come at me, the SEC is the best conference. It's what it is, guys. There's a reason why OU and Texas are leaving.
Yeah.
But the fact that Oklahoma and Texas competed without being in the SEC, y'all locked the doors up, bro. I'm telling you right now, we watched Missouri make an SEC championship. We watched Texas A&M make an SEC championship after they leave the Big 12. What are the two powerhouses going to do? Watch out. I mean,
It's gonna
you
be
hear it here first. I'm telling you, you might actually see them battling for for an SEC championship the first year they're in the SEC.
I can't wait to see like Auburn, Oklahoma, Texas, and Alabama.
So
but
I have to
it's
check
for
Texas.
the SEC. You know what I mean?
I have to check Texas's 3. Oklahoma's 3 are Texas, Missouri, and Florida. I'm going to guess Texas is Oklahoma, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would hate to see Georgia, but wow.
Oh, man.
You imagine having to play an A&M, Georgia and
Arkansas, right?
Oklahoma every year?
Well, couldn't Arkansas be in there as well?
Oh, it could be Arkansas. They're a rivalry anyway. So knowing you have to play all 3 of those guys every year, though, 3 huge rivalries because, dude, A&M hated the fact that they found out Texas was coming.
Yeah. That's some serious business right there. I love it. That's good stuff. Like
that rivalry needed to come back. It's absolutely
those are banger games. That's like hatred in those.
Yeah,
games.
Kyle Field ain't no joke, bro. Like it's one of the loudest stadiums maybe ever.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's been 50 minutes. We broke it all down. Touched on the headlines. Broke down the Longhorns. We got rankings coming out soon. I got everybody on board. We're going to be putting out the QBs and wide receivers, QBs and running backs. I'm sorry, by the weekend. Let you guys, you can go on to the T2T.
So tough, by the way.
Oh yeah, it is, and it's going to be a lot.
Top 10 running backs is tough. I could probably do 20.
Yeah, I want to see everybody's because everybody's. Then we're going to pull. What we're going to do is it's all 7 of us. We're all 7 going to put in our top 10, and then there'll be a consensus overall top 10. We'll have that on the T2T website. They'll be under the CFBNation tab. So click on that. You can check that out. All our articles and stuff around there for CFBNation. You can always go to the YouTube and check us out. Maybe we'll even do an episode breaking it down. Get the whole squad on the screen. We'll start talking about why we like our guys and whatnot. But this has been fun. I appreciate you guys watching. Obviously we had Dino in the chat hooking us up with the fly gear to get the mayor and Boomer in the building. Boom. As always, my guy. Take us away.
We love you, Texas. But until next week, let's go.